Good morning, guys. Don Palayo here. This Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend. I'm getting ready to go over to my Sunday, May 25th. I'm going over to my parents' house. My brother came in last night from Arkansas. I picked him up at the airport and took him over to my parents' house for a little bit. He picked up one of the cars over there, and so he's here in town. He's got wheels, so he can get around as he wants. But he did crash at my place last night. Um, we're gonna be spending some time with the family at my parents' house today. So looking forward to that. It was really nice having my whole family there last night. It's been quite a while since my parents and all of the brothers, all three of the kids were there together. It's been a while. I guess the last time was Christmas. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today was I've been seeing a lot of news stories. It feels like people are starting to become a little bit more and more unhinged out here. Seeing a little bit more pickup in the stories of violence, things happening just for random reasons. I've seen a couple of stories here recently where people start shooting in restaurants over restaurant orders and different things. I saw here in Charlotte not too long ago, we had an employee two employees of a I think I can't remember if it was Bojangles or it was one of the chicken places. Maybe it's Popeyes. That was right. I think it was Popeyes. They started going at each other, and it's just like, people, there's bigger things in life than worrying about burnt biscuits or whatever it was. The reason it's like, come on, guys. We're really going to start shooting each other over burning some biscuits? Really? Is that really what we're going to do? I'm like, I think people are stressed out. I think people are becoming more and more stressed out, probably because of the financial situation. I think that has a lot to do with it. I wish there was a good answer for that. I wish I had a good answer in terms of the financial situation in the country right now. I was talking to my brother about it a little bit as we were driving back from the airport last night. And, it's like what I'm seeing. I work in financial services. I've worked in financial services for decades. But it's very true that the divide between haves and have-nots is getting wider, is becoming a lot wider. I feel like the middle class is kind of dying in this country, to be honest with you. It feels like there's a top 10 or 15% or so of the population that is doing really well, and then it's like everyone else is just barely getting by. It's like we're just treading water or underwater. It's like there's only about 15% of the population that's really able to save and able to to really enjoy life. It's only about the top 10 or 15% that can right now. That's really the way it feels. Everybody else is just having to work so hard just to keep themselves afloat. And I think that is a dangerous situation for the country. I don't think that's healthy for the country. And this is when you start, if it gets much worse, you're going to start seeing some bigger uprisings. I think, it's like people are getting fed up, and I think it's getting worse. I think we're starting to see it, the cracks already emerging. I do have a few suggestions for things that could help. It's not a fix-all. It's not gonna fix everything. But I believe that Washington, D.C. is just such a mess right now. I think the first thing that needs to happen is we need all of the boomer generation to get out of Congress. We need to start getting more Gen X people in Congress. All these old-time boomers probably need to go. It's probably time for them to leave and have some younger blood come in there. Number one, that's the first thing I think that needs to happen. Second thing that needs to happen, I think they need to lift the cap on Social Security. There's a lot of worry about the Social Security system. I've told you guys this before, But with Social Security, only about the first 170,000 or so. That number changes every year, but it's right around 170,000, I believe, of income is taxed for Social Security. So if you earn $500,000 a year, you're only paying Social Security tax on the first 170,000. The next 330,000, you don't pay any Social Security tax on that. So I believe they need to make Social Security a flat tax on all earned income, and that fixes a big part of the Social Security system. It does. It makes it much more. It's not perfect. It's not going to fix it 100%. I've seen estimates that would fix it about 2/3, maybe about 2/3 of the problem with Social Security. So it's going to allow Social Security to run a lot further out. I do eventually think, especially with the young generation, that we need to start with the younger generation having more like private accounts where their Social Security is going into an account that can be invested. And Democrats hate that. The Democrats like the removal of the cap. The Democrats want the removal of the cap. The Republicans want an investment option with the Social Security funds. I think both need to happen. I think you need to remove the cap, give people, the younger generation, starting with Generation Alpha, maybe starting with them having private accounts where that money goes into an account. They can put it into index funds, have some different options. If they want to be safe with the money, they can put it into treasury bonds, but have some options for people there. I think they should have index fund options, just very similar to like a 401k, or you could have mutual funds in there too. You could have mutual funds and index funds. I would probably prefer the low-cost index funds for most people. There is some benefit to having active management with mutual funds, but really, I think, especially over time, the cost of mutual funds, it's like that expense is it really worth it? A lot of these mutual funds don't beat the market. It's like, the mutual funds are actively trying to beat the market, whereas index funds are just trying to stay level with the market. I think you're just fine buying index funds. You can get index funds with a 0.03% expense ratio in the S&P 500, and maybe have a portion in that and have a portion in bonds, and you'll be fine. Especially with something long term like Social Security, you got a long term time horizon. You could even have it like a target date. Set it up as a target date fund. You could do that, where it starts out very aggressive when the people are young, but as they age, gradually it becomes more and more conservative. There could be even some kind of management over that, some sort of investment management over that. A target date fund wouldn't be a bad idea for Social Security, because sometimes people don't think about adjusting their allocation as time goes on, but it's important to do that. But a lot of people just don't think about it. So it might be good to set it up in a target date fund for when people are anticipating retirement. Anyway, these are just my thoughts about it. So I think that those two things, removing the cap and starting with Generation Alpha giving investment options, I think that would fix your Social Security problem. I think that would actually take care of the Social Security issue. There may still be some other slight adjustments that need to happen, but I think that would alleviate the majority of it. In terms of your expenses, your earnings right now, I think everybody needs to have a side hustle. We all need to be, first of all, watching our spending, cutting spending where we can. I think it's important to really be trimming back. One of the things I've been trying to do is just get some of my debt paid off. I'm working on getting all my unsecured debt paid off, and I'm getting pretty close to that now. And once I have that done, then I can really start stacking and start building some savings. I want to. I just want to. I need to have a better cash reserve. Most of my money, that I have is in my investment accounts, and I don't have much of an emergency fund, which is kind of backwards from the way they want you to build your emergency fund first, and then I've never really kept a whole lot of cash just because I want my money working for me, and having a bunch of cash in the bank, it's like, well, it's a peace of mind thing, but I've liked having my money working for me, but now, especially being a single person and being getting older, I'm going to be 49 in August. It's becoming more important for me to have a larger emergency fund, especially being a homeowner too. So I want to really begin building that up, making a much fatter emergency fund once I get this last bill off of me. But please, just be very mindful of your spending. Be watching. Look for deals when you go to the grocery store. I would suggest when you go to the grocery store, if you see anything, buy one get one free. Big discounts on things. Take advantage of that and just stock up when you can. They may be things that you don't even normally eat, but you got to look at the budget and depending on what your budget looks like, you may have to just make some trade-offs for things. Buy some substitutes. I would also be limiting as much as possible how much you're driving in terms of going out, driving around, going places. It's like I do drive more doing DoorDash, which I've been putting miles on my car doing that and spending more on gas, but what I earn, I'm putting an extra $200 a month on the principal of the car loan, of my note on the car. And yesterday I got my oil changed. I've been taking care of the things with the car. I want this car to be able to last me as long as it will. I've heard of some people, that's one thing, I've heard a lot of people that have had their cars for last 200,000 miles, 250,000 miles. I think the most miles that I've ever had on a car was about 150, I think. I had a Chevy Lumina at one point that I think I had around 150,000 miles on at one point. But I've never really had a car last very long like that. And maybe I need to get a Toyota. I've heard Toyotas are really dependable that way. That might be when I buy my next car, it might be a Toyota. Anyway, I know we're all a little stressed out about finances. Almost everyone is these days, especially if you've got families, if you've got, kids and things. It is expensive out here these days. Home prices have just continued to rise. Definitely be looking for ways to save money as you can. Stacking, investing in your retirement. Retirement's getting more and more to be a luxury item these days. It feels like it's again, retirement feels like it's for that top 15%, and then everybody else is kind of going to be screwed, I think. Fortunately, my parents, my dad, he grew up in a generation where they had pensions. My dad has Social Security, but he has 3 pension payments that he gets every month coming in. My mom also had a pension. She had a 401k as well, but they've got a decent amount of income coming in each month that they can live on with no problem. So unfortunately, my brother and I, we don't have the luxury of those pensions. It's hard to find pensions outside of government work these days. So we're just going to have to build as much as we can in our retirement accounts and hope it lasts. Hopefully Social Security will be there and we can supplement our Social Security with what we've got built up in our retirement accounts. I'm probably going to try to work as long as I can. I'm hoping that I stay healthy enough to where I don't to where I can work up as long as I can. Sometimes I kind of wonder about about me, how long I'll live and things like that, because men usually do die earlier. We don't take care of ourselves quite as much as women do, and I think just some natural hormone things, maybe girls just live longer. But you know, my dad is 74. He turned 74 this month. And so I've probably got at least a good 25-30 years left, at least, you know. And I keep thinking about retirement, and it's like, well, I'll probably at least try to get to full retirement age, like maybe like 67. My dad didn't retire, and I think he was 72 when he retired, I think. So we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to be heading over to my parents' house here shortly. I just, please, everybody, try to keep control of your emotions. You know, we don't need to be flipping out, you know, whipping out guns on people. It's like, people, come on, rein it in a little bit, you know, get control of yourself, get your composure. It's not worth throwing your life away, you know, over. It's not. And when you pull a gun on somebody and shoot somebody, you're not just taking a life. I mean, your own life is over too, basically. You're going to be in prison, you know, for a good long while. And it's like, it's just not worth it. It's not. You're better off just walking away, cooling down, cool off, you know, don't let things get to you. Anyway, I'm going to go to my parents' house. I got to stop and get some gas. I'm under a quarter of a tank, so I need to get some gas. But I will be talking to you guys soon. Have a great weekend.